Now the next question will be no shock to you. For us at the Deeter Gallaher Group, or most marketing advertising firms, one of the first questions a client says, what's my return on investment? Ann or Scott, if you're going to spend X amount of hours a day talking and twittering and posting and blogging, what is my return? What's my guarantee?
Well, there are no guarantees in life, right? I mean, what's your guarantee for getting, front page headline on your local paper? How do you equate that to ROI? What's your ROI for a television ad that you're putting on to advertise your products, and how are you measuring that? I think we're getting way too much focus on ROI on an industry that's really nascent right now, and we need to equate it to what else is out there. How are you looking at your advertising and marketing and PR budgets currently?
Right.
But ultimately, what's the ROI of other conversational methods you use in your business on a regular basis? What's the ROI of a handshake or the phone on your
Very
desk?
good.
What's the ROI of putting your pants on in the morning, right? It's worth something, hard to quantify, but there are negative effects if you don't do it.
Right.
So I think that's how we need to think about it.
Now we see Ford Motor Company at this behemoth, certainly capable of unveiling social media, but the rest of us in the small business world, sometimes we use it as an excuse not to participate because we feel if only the big guns can do this. What's your advice to the small business owner? Is it worth their investment, their attempts, or should they watch this go by them?
Well, I think businesses, no matter what size you are, you need to assess where your customers are or where the people that you're trying to reach are. If they're not on Twitter, don't get on Twitter. If they're not on Facebook, don't get on Facebook. I mean, what's the reason you have a telephone, right? Because that's what people use. So spend a little time, do some market research, understand what your customer base is doing, understand what's being said about you or your competitors.
Good.
What a great opportunity to do market research on your own company by using some free tools.
Sure.
It could be Google alerts, it could be searching Twitter for real-time results as what's going on in the world. And it's a great way to get some undercover information about your competitors.
Very good. Good. Any bits of advice to those of us who are doing social media? Any new tips? Do you have any trends that you're spotting? Any new tools?
Well, I think to the degree we've seen social media kind of connect people from around the world, where I could, pick up Twitter or Facebook right now and get somebody in Japan or Australia or what have you. That's great. But ultimately, I think what practical people use it for on a daily basis, the people that aren't the real diehards like we are, they are mostly connected with people in their own network, people that they're close to, family, friends, business associates, and geographically connected with people. So I would say pay attention to the location-based services, whether it's things like Google Maps, whether it's new social networks that are cropping up like Foursquare or Yelp or Gowalla that connect the social aspect and the location aspect, and use that to your advantage as a local business owner to figure out how you can leverage customers on the social web and bring them into your shop or to your business in the real world.
Good. Excellent. I would say one last note. I think Ford's amazing success in their marketing efforts and their messaging and their one Ford focus, I find this with other clients as well, is to a large degree because you have executive top-down buy-in, acceptance, support.
Completely.
You have a CEO that has been on Twitter, that seeks to understand it. It certainly isn't spending his day on the social media platforms, but has released you and blessed you to run with that message. And I really feel that it's difficult to be successful in the social media channels unless you have the CEO or the client's full support of that. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. You can have all the grassroots efforts that you want, and they're not going to go anywhere if there's not a plan, if there's not a strategy, and if it's not recognized by senior leadership.
Right.
And, excuse me, everything we do with social media is tied to our overall communications and marketing goals, and that's tied to our overall Ford plan. Alan kept saying, "What's the plan? Are we
Right.
on plan?" And to the degree we can look at our efforts and say, "Yes, we are on plan. We're delivering on our objectives, and those objectives support what we need to accomplish
Sure.
for the company." Every leader can get behind that. And when you open it up to the leadership and make it easy for them to understand what it is that we do, make it transparent,
Right.
and get them involved, like we got Alan on Twitter, like we got our general counsel on Twitter, who runs his own blog, by the way, right? B, capital L, capital A, capital W,
Oh, wow.
G, blog,
Yes.
specifically for his staff. It's an internal blog. They get it. They fundamentally get
yeah.
it, right? And Alan doesn't need to know how Twitter works or
Right.
how to set up his own Facebook profile. It's the spirit of it.
Sure,
He
absolutely.
understands fundamentally
Absolutely.
that you need to listen to customers and you need to be transparent, you need to be out there.
Excellent. We absolutely agree. Thank you so much for your time, and we're still in awe of the real Scott Monty's office on the 10th floor of Ford World Headquarters. So we will pass along greetings from you to Chris Brogan and Amy Howell and Glenn Gilmore for our big seminar tomorrow. We wish you could have joined us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. Good.